A while back, Primetime reported a story that opened a lot of eyes about the tricks of the diamond trade. Well, after that story, we got a call saying that we should turn our attention to another problem: synthetic gemstones. They're everywhere. Now, these are not glass or plastic, and we're told it's very difficult to spot which is synthetic and which is real. We want to say at the outset, there's certainly nothing wrong with buying a synthetic stone if you know that's what you're buying. The question is, can you be sure? So Primetime decided it was time to take up our hidden cameras and a few $1,000s and go shopping again. Take a look at these two stones. Both are that deep green color most prized in an emerald. Not too dark, not too light. But the stone on the left is the slow gift of nature. It took millions of years to create, and because it's rare, its value is $12,000. But the stone on the right was grown in a lab in a matter of weeks. Heat and sometimes pressure are used to produce them by the ton. Its value about $200. Can you tell the difference?
In this case,
How can you tell? Cosmo Altobelli and Eric Friedman are expert gemologists and certified appraisers. They said the two stones have the same chemical composition, and sometimes even the experts need a microscope to spot the difference.
just kind of jumps out at you.
They showed us how the natural emerald has small but distinctive flecks inside, while under the microscope our synthetic stone has something called a wispy veil.
So this sort of cobwebby thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a unique telltale sign it's man-made.
Can the average shopper know about this? Can they spot this?
No, absolutely not. Without the jeweler advising him properly.
What are these? Emeralds.
Right.
So we wonder, can we always count on what the jewelers tell us? We start here at a big chain store, Service Merchandise, which calls itself America's leading jeweler. We expect these salespeople to be experienced.
I started when I was really young in the jewelry department, so I know basically a lot more. You're not allowed up here unless you do.
This is their fine jewelry section. Eric Friedman, who's well known in the jewelry world, goes shopping with us, but in a disguise. We ask about this bracelet. What would they say we're getting for our $400?
They're genuine emeralds.
And the diamonds, they are real too, right?
Yeah, they're real too. Yeah, there's nothing synthetic in these cases up here.
Nothing synthetic, she said. So we ask about another bracelet. This one's sapphire.
And these are good quality too.
Genuine.
The saleswoman doesn't know that after we buy the two bracelets, we take them right out to a mobile laboratory set up in a van.
I'm looking at the sapphire bracelet now.
Friedman and Altobelli put our stones under a microscope, and that genuine sapphire bracelet isn't genuine at all.
This is the kind of stone that you got when you were like 10 years old in your birthstone ring. It's a synthetic, it's a very inexpensive synthetic sapphire.
And the emeralds on that other bracelet?
Are conclusively all synthetic.
Not only that, under the microscope, most of what appeared to our naked eye to be diamonds turned out to be metal.
Just plain metal.
And this didn't happen at just one Service Merchandise store. We went to 4 stores, and at 3 of them we were never told that the stones we bought were synthetic. At only one of the service stores did they do it right.
Those are lab-created emeralds.
I feel very badly because this isn't, this isn't Fifth Avenue. We're talking about this is Middle America. This is people that work really hard for their money.
And that's true not just of Service Merchandise, of JCPenney's too. We go to the fine jewelry section of a suburban Penny's in New Jersey. Our experts notice that some of the rings have clearly synthetic stones.
This is genuine.
Yeah. They tell you. If it wasn't, they tell you.
But the salesperson said he was inexperienced, and he double-checked himself with what appears to be a kind of inventory manual for pennies. Then he tells us incorrectly that these are real star sapphires, called that because of their prism-like reflection.
And these are real?
Yeah.
These were very, very obvious. You wouldn't have to put them in a microscope.
This happened in more than one Penny's. And we also noticed that the catalog on display from which consumers can order by mail labeled some of the synthetic stones as man-made but others not. At yet another Penny's, we pointed this out to a saleswoman.
At one time, these were coming in synthetic. That's why I'm surprised it's coming in genuine.
The person that wrote this technical manual must have written the lifeboat manual for the Titanic.
There has to be someone in the organization on some level that should have been able to recognize that immediately and say, hey guys, there's something wrong here, but nothing happened.
Our experts say what happened to us at Penny's and Service Merchandise violates FTC guidelines, which say it's a deceptive trade practice not to say when a stone is synthetic, or to use words like natural, genuine, or real when it's man-made. And what about the money we spent? These synthetic star sapphires with diamonds from Penny's have a regular price of $400, sale price $270. But our experts say their value is just $152.
You should have been able to basically almost buy 3 of those for what you paid.
They also say we were overcharged several $100s on our purchases at Service Merchandise. But as we continued to shop at some smaller independent stores, we started to lose even more money. At a store in New York, we're told this $400 stone is a real garnet.
Garnet, very good stone, garnet.
When in fact it's a synthetic worth
$78 is what you should have paid for this. So
$78 and we paid
bought a whole
$400?
tray of these for that.
The store's owner later told us it was an honest mistake. From another store, here are what we're told is a bracelet of color-treated tanzanite. But when we immerse a stone in a special liquid, most of that color disappears.
That's amazing.
See? It's like, now you see it, now you don't.
We went back to the jeweler to ask him about it. Remember, we paid him $1,340 for a bracelet our experts say is worth only $550. We told him we knew he had sold us low-quality synthetic sapphires.
It's not real anything.
I buy this from Hong Kong supplier.
And they told you it was tanzanite?
It's tanzanite, treated tanzanite.
He insists he never said it was real.
But you told it, I have it on tape, what you told us. Do you want to see it?
No, I don't want to see it because...
In a letter, he later says it was a misunderstanding and says he should have called the stone a tanzanite look-alike. But the most startling thing to us was what happened when we decided to buy some expensive emeralds. This is a very nice neighborhood jewelry mall in suburban New Jersey, where each booth is an independent vendor. We're taken with a pair of emerald earrings.
It's good. Looks good, yeah.
It's a good emerald. It's a good quality emerald.
So we spend a lot of money, $2,000. We also liked an expensive emerald ring in a window on 47th Street.
$2,500 is what it's worth?
Easy. Yeah, I give for you
$1,600. He says that's a bargain, a wholesale price for what he tells us is a medium quality emerald with very few flaws.
This is nice, everything really nice, clean emerald.
It's a man-made, laboratory-made green stone that you have there.
You're positive. Both of you are positive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Our experts say with the diamonds, the setting is worth about $1,000. But the green stone, the reason you buy the ring, is worth only $200.
So that if we went back in and tried to get our value out of this...
You'd have to live to be about 3,000 years old before you could recoup your value.
By the way, our experts double-checked themselves by having the official Gemological Institute of America test the stones, too. So, was it possible that the man who sold us that ring, saying it was a real emerald, didn't know what it was? We thought we'd give him a kind of test. We took the stone out of the ring he sold us and mounted it in a completely different setting. And then another primetime producer went to the vendor to see what our seller would say when he didn't know that the stone he was being asked to buy back was the stone he had sold us. And remember, he told us it was a nice, clean emerald.
Really nice, clean emerald.
But now, he examines the stone for no more than a few seconds before shaking his head and handing it back to us. He said nothing to us, but we did hear him say something in Hebrew over his shoulder to his colleague. Lo amiti. And what that means in Hebrew is, not real. An honest mistake, the store said, insisting they bought the stone as a genuine emerald. And what about our $2,000 emerald earrings? Well, under a microscope, they're revealed to have a distinctive checkerboard pattern, which is another telltale sign that the emerald is synthetic. And then, when we popped one of those stones out of the setting, it turns out that the green is just a synthetic layer on top.
So this is like a veneer?
Yes. It's a very, very thin coating. The value of it is extremely low.
Are these earrings worth $2,000?
No,
Hardly.
actually not.
Freeman and Altobelli told us the diamonds and the setting are worth about $1,000, but that so-called emerald has
Virtually no value.
So once again, we pop a stone out of its setting as an earring and put it in another setting, this time as a ring. We take it back to the man who sold it to us as a medium quality emerald. This time, he inspects the stone under magnification for 20 seconds before saying,
It's not a genuine emerald, I think.
and if it's not genuine, how much does he think this green stone is worth?
Around $50 something stone.
But we remembered what he said back when we paid $2,000 for those earrings.
For the money, you get a very good buy on that, I can say. You know, it's a good buy.
So we decided to pay him a visit.
I'm Diane Sawyer.
There's no cameras.
Can we talk
There's
to
no
this
cameras.
man about
No.
representing to us that this was an emerald?
While our cameras are being pushed outside, the jeweler has a variety of explanations.
I could make a mistake. No, I'm not a perfect person. I could
A mistake? We told him what happened when we tried to sell him back one of the stones he sold to us.
You said
No.
you think it's not a real stone.
No. I said I have to take it to the machine. Even I was trying to.
Do you want to see it on tape?
Yes, I do want to see. It's not a genuine emerald, I think. I think it.
Right.
That's.
But I'm saying, when you sold it to us, you didn't say, I think this is an emerald.
So now he has other explanations.
I didn't tell them as an emerald. Also, I didn't say nothing emerald. I didn't.
But we also had the receipt, which says twice, these are emeralds.
So this is just what? What?
After we dropped in, he called us to say he'd been misled by the person who sold the stones to him as genuine. And if by any chance you're thinking that at least you're completely protected at a more expensive store, come with us for a final stop here on Fifth Avenue, where the prices are high and reputations even higher. We stop in at Bergdorf Goodman, a landmark of affluence and quality. We go to the antique gallery, which rents space inside the store.
It's 1940s, obviously. It's rubies set into 18-karat gold. And
This pen from the 1940s cost $3,375. But we know that synthetic stones have been around since the early 1900s. So we asked the gallery owner point blank if these stones are real. She seems surprised we'd ask.
as long as I know that the piece is genuine, the stones are real.
They're definitely synthetic.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt.
And what about the price we paid for it, which was $3,375?
Shocking.
What's it worth?
Substantially less than that.
When we phoned the owner of the gallery to tell her what we'd found, she sent us a written statement admitting she had not tested the rubies to make sure they were genuine, because she says the rubies were inconsequential to the piece, and that $3,375 was still a fair price. So what's the tally on our primetime shopping spree? We have spent almost $13,000 for 13 pieces of jewelry, which our experts say are worth only about 60% of what we spent. And before we leave you what turns out to be a, well, ironic note. A while back, my husband, as a loving gift, gave me what we both thought was a ruby necklace. As an afterthought, I handed it to Eric Friedman, who surprised me at the office one day by announcing, guess what?
Okay, do you see the bubbles? That means they're synthetic.
So what lesson do we all take from this? The old one, caveat emptor, buyer beware.
I love my husband anyway. As you can imagine, we heard from the big chain stores that you saw at the beginning of this piece. JCPenney acknowledged mistakes were made and said it will redouble its efforts to disclose all synthetic gemstones, but added they feel the pieces we bought were appropriately priced. Service Merchandise also apologized for their errors and said they too are going to institute additional training procedures for employees and place more information about synthetics on counters for consumers.
So what do you do if you want to be sure that you're getting a genuine stone, as the experts say? Well, they told us, shop at a reputable jeweler, one you trust. Ask the jeweler point blank if the stone is synthetic. Ask. If you're told it's genuine, get that in writing and ask about the store's return policy. And then you may want to have it checked by a qualified appraiser or gemologist. And be smart. If the price for a so-called genuine stone sounds too good to be true, it probably is.